right, welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast Show. We're talking about young people today. We're going to be doing the community reports right about sometime before the end of the show, or we simply bring you those details tomorrow when it comes to those events that affected generations, changed lives, impacted people during this Christmas and New Year celebration. I went to some. I like to share the gist with you, but you know how it is now. When we have a guest in the studio, we have to do that one first. And our guest this morning is a gentleman. He's actually a friend, a brother, a pastor, boxing partner. Really, Feyisayo Adebayo joins us this morning. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Tomisin.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year
Good to see you in the new year.
The last time I saw you was sometime last year, right?
Yeah, sometime, about some months into, before the end of 2019.
Right in this very studio, actually.
But we've changed level, we've flown to the next plane.
Obviously so.
We're in new era now.
Fantastic.
Year 2020. But anyway, I think coming with year 2020 also is a lot of seriousness.
Definitely.
When it comes to young people. Feyisayo Adebayo is a youth advocate, been talking, motivating, training young people for a minimum of 8 to 10 years. So he's had to interact with them one-on-one. He's had products like myself. He's had products that he can point and say, she was under me, I did well, I must have done something well, somewhere along the line. But we're looking at rescuing the young people of this particular generation. And forget all the stories that I've been making the rounds. Oh, they're not doing so well. What's your honest assessment of young people in Nigeria? Are we doing so badly?
Nigeria, I would say that, in all honesty, if we look at it holistically, I wouldn't say the entire youth population in Nigeria is doing so badly, because amongst them you have seen the entrepreneurs coming out of them. You can see creative minds. As a matter of fact, you can see some of Nigerian youths disrupting the way things are done globally, changing this face and this sphere of business. And I don't think we're doing badly, in general, because, sometimes it is often said that the empty drum makes the loudest noise. So you get to listen to those loud noise and you don't focus on those who are actually doing well. We have a couple of young people, who are changing the way things are done globally, who are disrupting, the way things are done globally. So I think holistically, we're not doing so badly. Really.
How come we don't have that bad narrative? They're so lazy. They're so unserious. Oh, they're so vain. Oh, they just like quick money.
Well, I don't know if you saw a picture that trended in the course of this festive season. It's about a white guy who was talking about Lagos, and he was reaching out to some children on the streets. And someone said, every time we go to America, let's also go to the poor streets and go show them that they're also poor people in America. So basically, they get to focus more on those who are really not doing well. They focus more on the negatives and not tell the positive sides of the story. I've been to different platforms and seminars. I've been to different workshops, and I saw young people gracing those platforms and the level of success they have achieved, in quite a very short time. I wouldn't say that every youth in Nigeria is focused on the bad narratives that they are telling us. I think we have some positive ones out there who are also making positive impacts. As a matter of fact, I also saw so many pictures of young people reaching out this season. I saw a lot of young people going out to, to some less privileged areas to reach out, reach out with what they have made, with their little token that they have been able to gather all through the year, and then reach out to people who have nothing, go into the streets, reach out to some, people. So I don't think we're doing badly. But then we will also not sweep that bad narrative under the carpet and say, because we have some good people, we really don't have that bad side. I think we have a lot of people too, a lot of young people who are also trying, to put the wrong stories out there, which I feel it's time for us to see how we can change that narrative.
Are we not making our own noise enough? Is another question I would like to ask you. Is it that I listened to Chimamanda Adichie Ngozi a couple of months ago. She was having a TED talk, and she said something very germane, that we seem to be a group of people, or we have allowed the one story about Nigeria, about Africa. There is that one story that when you look for poor people, you go to the Africa. When you look for sick people, you go to Africa. When you look for backward people, you come to Africa. When you look for dull, not intelligent, not exposed, you know, all of the negatives, you come to Africa. And it comes to mind to say that that's the danger of the one story, which was our message. But you just said again that we are not, it looks as if we're not making, you know, we're not teaching our own story, we're not telling our story. Is it that we're focused on, we're so focused on other people that we're not telling our own story enough?
I think so. One of the major issues I've seen around us, especially in my community in Nigeria, is that we're quick to look outside for solution and the right stories. We're quick to look at, you know, outside our community, outside our environment, outside our immediate circle of influence, if I may say, before we can get the right stories. So we're always looking up to the West or the Western world for the impact they have made before we start to see how we can shape our lives. And I think that has affected us, in all honesty, both positively and negatively. All right. So, but then, like I said, we have a lot of young people here who have the right stories to tell. As a matter of fact, you need to see the kind of impacts that these young people are making. I was touched when I discovered that a particular young person gathered his entire income just to reach out this December or last December. He gathered his entire income, what he has made for the year, just so he could put food on some people's table. That is a narrative. I see a lot of young people going out of their way to make sure that they impact lives, that they reach out to people, even while they are also building capacity. So I think if I may appeal to you, you know, as the person who is always out there on the streets reaching out to people, if we can begin to look up for these people with positive stories and bring them up and begin to tell the world that we are not as terrible as what the West must have portrayed us to be, then we'll begin to see the right side. Because the truth is, you are what you constantly see and hear. So the perception they have of us is what they have seen and heard over time. And I think it's time for us, especially for the media, to change this narrative. Let's go to the major reason why we are here, proving the worth of every young person, proving your worth as a young person in 2020. The year is just starting. Your 2020, I was just talking about prophecies and a lot of stories and a lot of pastors had promised all through the year. And I looked at some general overseers and I saw all positive news about what Nigerians can achieve all through this year. And I saw a lot of advice. And I'm saying that how can young people key into this, especially when it comes to the area of, say, personality? We just talked about, you know, perception right now. We just talked about telling the story. How can we improve our image as young people in Nigeria, in Africa, as a continent? How can we improve our image in this year? Improving our image as a continent or as a people, or if I take it from the very first line, you said how to, you know, improve my own worth. Basically, what we have paid attention to, if you allow me to say this, is distractions. We have paid more attention to distractions than what we should be paying attention to. So the very first thing I would say is to try as much as possible to reduce the level of distractions you allow into your life. All right. If you need to know your worth, if you need to put out your worth, if you need to let people know exactly what you carry, you must avoid distraction. Basically, you must sincerely avoid distraction. One of the greatest issues that the young people are contending with in this time and age is distraction. So you wake up in the morning hoping to do something, and then before you get out of your bed, you're already distracted because you got a news from social media, and then you are reacting to that news, and then that now gets to set the tone of your day. as against what you plan to do the night before you went to bed. And so you get up into a lot of so many distractions. So I think avoiding distractions first and foremost will put you on that path, because you need to focus. I was, talking to some of my friends even early this morning, and I said to them, you need to learn how to major on your major. You need to learn how to concentrate on what you need to do, not what you want to do. There are so many things you want to do. Like right now, I want to sleep, but I can't sleep because there are a lot of things I need to pay attention to. So you need to major on your major. So when you were putting together your goals for 2020, what were the things you wrote down? The truth is that you don't need to wait until those distractions come. You must prepare yourself for those distractions, because they will definitely come. You must prepare your mind. You must be ready to say to yourself, I won't allow this disturb me.
But young people don't even watch the regular news anymore. Everything they watch out for is on social media.
That's what I'm saying. That's part of the distraction. Social media is neither good nor bad. Social media is actually neutral, I would say. I had to tell myself that. It depends on what exactly I want to get out of social media. Because the truth is, the news is also on social media. So you don't even necessarily have to sit down behind the box, basically. But you can get the news from your device and know exactly what you need to follow. So I said to some young people, you pick up your device, you ask for money to subscribe for data, and then at the end of the day I ask you, what have you learned? You are simply saying actually nothing. So it simply means that you wasted your data, because the same data you have used to watch all the videos is the same data you can use to equip yourself. I was discussing with another young person, it's of course not so young, few days, I think it was on the 31st night, and then he said to me, I have my lecturers. And I said, who are your lecturers? And he said, no, my lecturers are not here. My lecturers are right on my tablets. And I said, okay, so enlighten me. He said, actually, sir, every certain day of the week, I sit down to watch videos from my lecturers. So what he does is that he saves his data until he's done watching the videos. Then when he's done watching the videos and he's done learning, he can do whatever he wants to do. That's a focused young person. That is somebody who understands the power of what he carries.
How some young people will do a master's degree abroad, online, and come out with so good a grade from a university of a repute abroad, and come up with so good a grade, and some other young person will spend the entire day on Instagram. And I'm just asking a question, how?
Well, Instagram also is not bad. It's not terrible.
No, I'm even saying, watching other people's videos and just laughing away the day.
Oh yes, you can also watch other people's videos and learn. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the truth is, what are you concentrating on? What are you focusing your energy on? That's why I said you must avoid distraction. It pops up on your face every now and then. There are adverts you never subscribed for. There are news that you never subscribed to that just keep popping up on your device. So the moment you just miss that point and say, let me just quickly have a glance, that takes you somewhere else, and it gives you another link, and it gives you another link, and then you keep going until you lose touch with where you're coming from in the first place. So you must be focused that this is exactly where I'm going to. You can't come out to me and tell me you want to prove your worth when after looking at you for about 2 minutes I can tell you're already distracted. So you walk into this set right now to have an interview with Tomisin, and at the end of the day you are busy looking around, looking at the flower vases, looking at the frames on the wall. Trust me, you are out of place, because whatever he's saying is hitting your head, not your heart. So you must major on the major. It's not sinking. It's not sinking. So you must understand the fact that there is a point to prove to yourself, improving your worth. It's proving a point to yourself that these are the values you carry, these are the things you have, these are the things I can do, these are the things I can achieve. Not because I want to show off to someone else, not because I need to let somebody else see it, but because I need to tell myself that I can achieve this thing.
Let's talk about integrity.
That's heavy. That's a heavy point.
Oh my God. Integrity. Not many people would want to come in. Great businesses, great business ideas, money, even when it comes to your children. You want to employ a child minder. The person tells you, I'm 22, and you're like, I'm looking for someone older. Do you get?
Yeah.
Someone wants to employ, a driver, and he wants somebody in his 40s. You want to employ even a cook. You want someone in between 40.
You want an experienced hand.
The funny part, the young people actually have the experience, but you don't want to employ them because you feel that they'll be, they could add this to my food, they could, you know, they're not patient enough to wash the plates properly, they're not, there are so many things. Let's talk about integrity. How do you think a young person this year can cultivate the habit of, you know, being recognized as a man? When it's a man of integrity, have you ever seen, on very rare cases, do you see them point at a young person?
Because there is a wrong perception, if I may say. There is a wrong perception. We feel that experience comes with age. We usually have that feeling that experience comes with age. Sometimes it does. But the truth is...
But wisdom comes with age, right?
Does wisdom come with age? Well, that's another talk. But when you feel that experience comes with age all the time, you get to lose the point because you focus more on age than what the person can bring to the table.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen a young person who has worked, I know, not that I've seen, I know a young person who has worked in about two great companies, if I'm permitted to use that word now, two great companies outside Nigeria, right? And then he's so much qualified than another person that I know who has been here all his life. Because for him, he has more experience. Exposure is part of experience. The places you go to educate you, changes your perception and your mind about some things. It affects the way you do things when you know, later on, right? So when you have a young person who is not even ready to prove his worth, it becomes a big issue. Integrity comes with relationship. I don't believe you are a person of integrity. I only know you are a person of integrity because integrity is proven. All right. So it boils down to the main topic of today, improving your worth. Improving your worth, you must make integrity an integral part of your life. Integrity is not just saying it and doing it. Integrity is deciding in your heart that this is who you are. You are your word and your word is you. So integrity also comes, you mentioned it while you are trying to raise this point. Integrity also comes with you paying attention to details. Right? So if you say, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be cleaning this dish, right? It is you paying attention to say to yourself, I'm not going to let a spot remain on that dish, right? Because every term that we use is relative. Excellence is relative. Even integrity is relative to a large extent. But then it is you saying, this is the level at which I want to deal, and I'm going to make sure I get it done. All right. So in employing young people, I think we are also getting to a point of not being patient with a lot of people, because the truth is, when you say he's a young person, you should understand that he might not have all the experience in life, but then paying attention to him and also realizing that you need to also invest. Life is about give and take. If you don't learn to give, don't expect. Life is about give and take. If you have what it takes, invest in them. If you know a young person you can adopt or you can bring closer to yourself, a young person that you can mentor, bring them close. Yes, bring them close. The truth is, you know, I have a young person, I'm sure you know him very well, who happens to be Mike Taylor, right? The very first time I gave him my cloth.
Yes, I do.
You know him very well. The very first time I gave him my cloth, he sewed a blouse for me. Trust me.
I can imagine.
He made a blouse for me. The neck, my neck was here. I don't want to tell you where the shoulder was, so you can imagine. But then I gave him
a shoulder pad.
He didn't actually have shoulder pad, but then the shoulder was not where it should be.
Okay.
Then I gave him another one, and he messed it up. But guess what? I said to him, you are better than this. You can get this thing done. Pay attention to details. And as we speak, he is beginning to, as a matter of fact, he was telling me that he needed
I'm begging him. I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm
I'm actually begging him to make me what he wore on one of the days in a program we had in church. So I saw it and I was like, are you not going to make me now, brother? Amos, what's up with you?
So that's what it is. That's what it is for you to invest in him. You need to also learn to help them grow. We can't just leave them to grow by themselves. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons we are in this issue we are in right now is because we have left them to grow by themselves, and they are
growing
growing
to their own devices, just do whatever,
and they are growing into what they think they should be growing into. I watched a concert recently and I held my head, because for me, wow, that was what the entire population or a set of people want to listen to, because we have left them to grow into themselves. So we must also learn to invest in them and teach them what integrity really is. Because trust me, definitions have changed at this stage of our lives.
Money is another issue as we begin to round up.
Wow.
Money. You trust young people with your money, but I think the craze for money, and case in point being the young person who took his mother to a spiritualist for money ritual. Money. There seems to be this craze to make money, craze to become Dangote, craze to become, it's all over the place. And I don't think the musicians are also helping, because everybody is singing about Dangote and singing about $10, and it seems to be the next. They do not sing about the process, and they do not sing about how they got there, apart from the process, their backgrounds, the beginning, even do an expose on the beginning of nobody does that.
System,
But people are talking about their money, as in their money, the level right now. And that craze seems to have penetrated into the hearts of young people. We have too many crazy for money people around us.
True.
What do we do?
True.
Does money actually equate success?
No, clearly not. Money is not equal to success. And money can never be equated to success. So let me take it from your point. We have a lot of people singing about Dangote, so I took my time to go
listen to the songs, right?
Not even the songs, to go listen to Dangote himself. And I discovered how many hours he spends working in a day.
I've done that before too.
That's a whole lot for him.
And they can actually put it into.
And for him, he kept going. And then recently, I don't know if you saw that somebody who was saying that he's richer than Dangote and all of that. A celebrity in quotes who said he's richer than Dangote and all of that. And then recently, Dangote responded to him and said, "I'm not even ready to compare my wealth with anybody." You see, because for him, he's not into competition. I think it's not just a craze for money; it's a craze to compete with their neighbor that does not even send you, if I'm permitted to use that word.
Oh.
So we are into that competition, not just craze for money. Craze to impress who does not really care about you,
Someone who does not send you,
who doesn't care about your future. That's the language now. Somebody who does not send you, because while you are busy, it's just like both of us driving at 120 kilometers per hour on the road, and then you are trying to check if you are looking at me. I'm heading for a crash. We are both going to be focusing, trying to drive straight ahead of us. So the person you are trying to impress to is also trying to make money. But I think it boils down to the value system of the society. Trust me, the craze for money is being driven by something. Sometimes we are trying to cure the symptoms, but what's the root cause? What's the root cause? We have allowed these musicians, really, even